Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig into the sources so you get informed quickly. Today, it's a critical special meteorological report. We're looking at an intense North Atlantic low being called potential storm, Amy, our mission, to really unpack its forecast impact on Ireland and the UK, specifically around September 7th and 8th.
Yeah, and look, this isn't just, another windy day. What really stands out about this potential storm, Amy, is the forecast for rapid intensification, almost explosive, actually. But beyond just the storm's power, there's this really unique situation developing, a specific event that creates a significant public safety challenge.
Okay, let's get into that. So this report, it suggests this storm isn't just appearing out of nowhere, right? It's a mix of factors.
Exactly. It's what we'd call a classic autumnal setup, brewing over the North Atlantic. Think of the polar jet stream, that fast river of air high up, is highly amplified, meaning it's taking this big, wiggly path, dipping much further south than usual. It's tapping into warmer conditions, kind of supercharging the system. And this is all happening, after a really active 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Sea surface temperatures are above average. There's just a lot of energy available.
Right, and here's where it gets really interesting connecting the dots. The report mentions Hurricane Erin, that huge Cat 5 back in August. How do its remnants play a part here? Seems like a long time ago.
It does, but the atmosphere has a memory. Erin, even as it dissipated, pumped a massive amount of tropical heat and moisture way up north. So it basically preconditioned the environment, left this warm, moist, unstable air mass behind, like kindling just waiting for a spark.
And this new system is the spark, leading to explosive cyclogenesis or bombogenesis. Sounds dramatic. What does that actually mean?
It means this thing isn't just strengthening, it's like turbocharging itself. We're talking a central pressure drop of at least 24 millibars in only 24 hours. It's like a giant vacuum cleaner switching on in the atmosphere. And the forecasts suggest Amy's pressure could fall below 980 millibars. That's the signature of a really powerful, potentially dangerous storm.
Okay, powerful ingredients, rapid intensification. So where is this thing actually going? That the track is crucial, I guess.
Absolutely crucial. Initially, Saturday, September 6th, it looks like it'll move northwest out in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. But then, and this is the absolute key part, the game changer on Sunday the 7th, its forward motion kind of stalls. And it takes this sharp turn, a hook they call it, pivoting south and east, aiming directly, it seems, at Ireland and the western UK. That turn changes everything.
Okay, so for you listening, what's the timeline? When do we need to be most aware?
Right. Saturday night, you'll see the first rain bands pushing in. Sunday is the main day. That's when the rapid intensification happens. It makes its closest approach, and we see the most severe conditions. Then into Monday, things should gradually start easing up from the west. Now, that pressure below 980 millibars, let's put that in context. The Great Storm of 87, people remember that, was around 953 millibars. Storm Ellen, just earlier this year, hit a record low 940 in Ireland. Amy isn't forecast to be that extreme, thankfully, but sub 980 is still a very deep, very potent low, especially this early in September.
So translating that low pressure into impact, what does it mean for you on the ground? The wind sounds like a major concern.
It really is. We're looking at potentially destructive wind gusts. Locally, they could exceed 80 miles per hour. That's 129 kilometers per hour. Especially exposed western and southern coasts of Ireland. That's enough to cause significant structural damage, bring down large trees, widespread debris. And sustained winds will be gale-force, force 8. Very dangerous for any marine activity.
And the coasts themselves, beyond just the wind hitting the land.
Huge waves. Significant wave heights are forecast between 8 and 10 meters out in the Atlantic approaches. That's, 26 to 33 feet. Extreme risk for shipping, obviously. But for the coasts, it means severe coastal flooding is likely. That's from waves crashing over defenses, overtopping, and also potential storm surge, where the sea level itself rises.
And you can't have a storm like this without rain.
No. Up to 50 millimeters, maybe 2 inches, is possible over the 72 hours. With the ground potentially already quite wet, the risk of localized flooding, even flash floods, is pretty high. So the primary impact zones look to be the western and southern coasts of Ireland. Think Cork, Kerry, Clare, Galway, Mayo. Also, all of Northern Ireland and the Outer Hebrides of Scotland seem in the path.
Okay, so for anyone listening in those areas, this isn't just weather news. What kind of disruption should people maybe anticipate?
Expect severe disruption across the board. Transportation's a big one. Marine ferries likely canceled. Aviation facing delays, cancellations. Roads and rail could be blocked by fallen trees. You might even see bans on high-sided vehicles. And critically, power. There's a high potential for widespread and possibly prolonged power outages. We saw hundreds of thousands lose power with Ophelia in 2017 and Ellen this year. That's a real possibility.
Okay, let's pivot to that unique challenge you mentioned right at the start. There's a sort of human factor complicating things on Sunday. We're seeing low-level official warnings now, status yellow in Ireland, nothing yet in the UK, but this report expects a rapid jump probably Saturday. What's the issue Sunday?
Yeah, this is where it gets, well, fascinatingly complex from a public safety perspective. It turns out, completely coincidentally, there's a nationwide test of the UK's emergency alert system scheduled, right for 3 p.m. on Sunday, precisely when the storm is forecast to be nearing its peak intensity and closest approach.
Wow. Okay. That raises a huge question, doesn't it? The potential for confusion must be massive. People might think the test is the storm warning, or maybe worse, get alert fatigue if a real warning needs to go out later that day, like the actual alert they used for Storm Eowyn back in January.
Exactly right. It's a really tricky situation for emergency planners. How do you make sure genuine critical warnings get through clearly when there's a scheduled test happening, almost simultaneously, especially with a potentially severe event unfolding? So just to sum up, potential storm, Amy, its forecast intensity, it's serious, comparable to some damaging storms we've seen. And having this level of energy in the North Atlantic this early in September is, well, it's notable. It's quite unusual.
So for you listening, the clear takeaway here seems to be, start thinking about preparedness now. Prepare for impacts potentially reaching status orange or even red levels, regardless of what the official warnings say right this second.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with, if we zoom out a bit. How does seeing such a potentially powerful system developing this early in the season, in 2025, how does that inform our understanding, maybe our preparedness for future extreme weather and, our changing climate? Something to consider.